happy New Year's Eve. Boots is here as well. For today's yoga snack, I want to target crescent pose. Crescent lunge is a pose that you see done a ton in vinyasa flow classes, and it's one of those poses that are done incorrectly a lot of times. I'm going to give 3 things to help set it up in a way that's going to serve you and help you create healthy habits so that it supports you in a way that the pose is designed to versus creating bad habits. I'm going to start off on my knees so that you can see the setup that I'm doing. My feet are going to be about hip width apart. So crescent, a lot of times we don't think of it as a balancing pose, but it is. The feet hip width apart, it's going to help with stabilizing once you lift the back knee up. The other thing, which you can't see right now because Boots is hiding it, is my front knee is going to stay directly over my ankle. And then once I go to lift up the back knee, I want to make sure that my hips are straight, versus if I start to straighten that back leg and then I start to overarch the low back, this is putting undue stress in ways that I don't want to do. The knee bent in order to ensure that the knees stay stacked, the hips stay stacked. And then I can add the arms, and this is my crescent. But from a head on, I want to make sure I keep that same hip width apart, and then notice the knee is going to stay in line with that hip socket. I don't want it to drift in or out. A lot of times I'll see people put more internal pressure here. So you want to make sure that it stays in line with the hip. If you look down, the knee is kind of tracking the second toe. That's a really good reference point. And then same thing, I can add the arms, I can keep a slight bend in the back knee. And again, because it is a balancing pose, I'm gonna set my gaze on something that's not moving in order to help with the stabilization. Again, basic things, 3 things to check in on. Hip width apart, front knee over ankle, and then the hips are square and stacked versus tilting the pelvis in order to straighten the back leg. As time goes on, you can start to work towards that straight leg being back, but not at the expense of your hips. As always, any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll put some of this in the description box below, along as where you can find me on my website or on the socials. I hope you'll have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and I'll see you in the new year.